Hi, Marie. Good morning, Grace and Mum. How are we today? Hello, Chel. Morning, Debbie. Nice to see some of you springing on. I was a bit worried that we were going to have anybody at all tuning in, so I was thinking, is it worth my while? I've got so much work to do, but it's nice to see some of you joining us on this beautiful, windy Friday morning. Hello. Hi, David. 30 minutes, David. That's just rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Why didn't you get organised and do it before? You could pop it in the crock pot or something. Morning, Sharon. Morning, Sue. Sonia, Jude. Nice to have so many of you joining me. So there's quite a few. And I've got quite a lot to do today. We'll crack on. So tomorrow I've got shows on Hochanda at 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. I've got a lot of 7 a.m.s this month, which I'm very unhappy about. I've got a 9 p.m. as well next week, which is... I can't get back until nearly midnight, so I'm not happy about that either, especially as some of the roads get closed at 8 o'clock in the evening, which it's a nightmare. So anyway, I'm going over there this sort of early evening so that I don't have too far to travel tomorrow morning, although I've got to get up earlier tomorrow morning than I would have liked to because I'll have to defrost the car because it's going to be something like -3 overnight, which is just rude really, isn't it? Anywho, yes, I will get over it. I will mention several times tomorrow morning that I don't like earlies, especially as there's a happy hour at 9 a.m. Would you believe it? 9 a.m. I could have had an extra 2 hours in bed and done a 9 a.m. and an 11 a.m. I'd have been very happy with that. But no, I've got a 7 a.m. I'm going to draw a line under that and not mention it again while I'm doing this. Oh dear. Anyway, yes, so tomorrow morning we've got yes, I know it warms up next week, but that's no good to me tomorrow morning, is it? It's been so cold. It makes you not want to get out of bed. That's the problem, isn't it? You just want to stay there. Yes. So anyway, tomorrow morning, Tutti designs, and we've got mostly dies on there that you haven't seen before. I mean, because Tutti designs have got something like, I don't know, 500 or 600 dies in their catalogue, you know, and we just can't get through all of them. And of course they're adding new stuff as well. So we've only got two repeats on there, and I'll tell you what the repeats are as we're going through. I'm not going to go through all the dies. I'll just show you the kind of boards that I've created and see if I can remember the names. So we've got a mix of Oriental, we've got some Easter in there, and we've got some more of the Slimline dies. -11. Oh, Jennifer, is that where you are? That's just too cold. Oh, that's unbearable, absolutely unbearable. I'm going to stop looking at your messages because they're... Anyway, yes, so we've got some of the tall Slimline dies on there as well. And the guy who owns the company calls them Slimmies. So I think that's a great name for them. So we'll be calling them Slimmies from now on. So what we've got is in the Orientals, we've got the Cherry Blossom branch. This is a repeat, the Asian landscape. We've had that on before, but it goes very well with something else that we've got on the show as well. So we put that back on again, and that was very popular when it was on before. We've also got the fan. What's it called? Let me have a look. The Oriental fan. Surprise, surprise. And we've got the fan background, which is really, really lovely background. This is an A6 piece of black card, so you can see that's almost an A6 die there. So that's a really useful one. That you can make the most of your backgrounds using that one. Then on the Easters, we've got the Floral Bunny, and here you can kind of paper piece the areas back in and perhaps do the flowers a different colour, add some pearls to the centres if you like. Then we've got the Easter candle, I think it's called Easter cross candle. So obviously that's going to be great, just a paper piece backs in the candle and the flame if you want to. So obviously Easter's coming up, it's beginning of April, I think, first weekend in April, so you will get it in time for that, because I think there's a delay dispatch of 10 days, and they're very good over there, they send them out very quickly. This one's fun. This is your Happy Easter Bunny, and it does come, let's see, there we go. It does come all joined up. So you see mine one here. I'm not being very good. I've not put everything on mag sheets yet. You see, it's all joined. But if you want to, you can nick into those and actually separate them. But obviously, you then run the risk of losing one of your dies. So I've actually kept mine all together. And I would suggest that you actually do that. And then just run through the bottom part of the die to cut out his little pads for his feet. So that's a really, I really like that one. Then you've got another Happy Easter if you don't want to go down the bunny route. This is your leafy Happy Easter because there's little leaves on it. Obviously you can paper piece in those little bits if you want to, but you can have them sort of vertical or horizontal, however you want. So those are the Easter ones. Not loads, just a few. Then you've got this beautiful die, and this is your lacy heart frame. And obviously you can paper piece in your flowers if you want to, add some pearls if you want to. You've got this one obviously drops out, but you've got a separate heart for that. But this will also work with some of the other dies, and I'll show you quite a few different things that you can use with this, so you don't have to use it as a heart if you don't want to. Then we've got loads of their nesting dies. Say loads, we've got 4 sets. We haven't had these on before. These are scalloped and stitched. So if you really wanted to, you could actually take some very fine thread and actually stitch through, because it does actually cut all the way through, which is really lovely. Obviously you can see you've got 8 dies here, going down in different sizes. Obviously these are going to be great for your little sentiments and your mats. I've used those a lot, but then I've also used the larger sizes a lot as well. Don't forget that your smaller dies you can actually multi-cut. Every time you run a small die through your machine, a die through your machine, run a small die through as well, and then you can make yourself some backgrounds up, which is really, really cool. So we've not had that before, and all the Tutti Designs rectangle sort of nesting dies are all the same proportions. So if you've got the cross stitch one, you can actually mix and match it with this scalloped one as well. So they're all going to fit perfectly. There's not like different sizes of rectangle, they're all the same. Then we've got the ovals as well. Exactly the same thing. This oval is the same proportion as the other ovals in the range in the nesting dies. So again, you're going to mix and match. And then we've got the circles as well. So you've got the 3 of those. There is a squares, but there wasn't enough stock for us to bring them on this time. But obviously, if these are popular, we'll bring on the squares as well at a later point. Then we've got some hearts, and obviously these hearts are going to match with your it's not quite the same proportion, but you're going to be able to work this with that if you want to. This isn't a scallop, this is just a stitched design, but there's lots of things that you can do with this, and I'll show you some samples as well. Then this is a repeat. We had this on our Christmas shows last year, but it was very, very popular, and obviously you can use bows throughout the year. Really, really useful, and this is my absolute favourite one, this one, the solid one, because obviously you can stick your foam pads and things behind, but there's nothing stopping you matting these onto different colour card, and then just do a little fussy cut around, and then you've got your mat for it. Really useful. Then the Slimmies, as our Tutti Designs owners call it. So this one, let me get the name right, is called Slimline Torn Edged Frames, and this one's really cool because you not only get the frames, you can see you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 frames, but the fall away pieces are kind of like, the waist is quite useful to have as well, because you've got kind of, I don't know, raggedy nesting dies left over. So there's no waste with that one. So I really like that one. And don't forget, with all of these tall slimmies, if you want to, you can actually use your guillotine or your trimmer and actually chop it down and then make a square if you want to, or a smaller rectangle, and you just hide the joins with a pearl or a butterfly or a flower or something like that. So they don't have to be tall slims if you don't want them to be. And just to reiterate, they will go on, I mean, they are just over 8.5 inches. Let's go to the corner bit here. Yeah, just a fraction over 8.5 inches tall. And then this one is just over 3.5 inches wide. But they will go on a card. Your card blank can measure 4 1/8 by 9 1/8 inches. So it's like the long length of an A4 piece of card folded in half. So you get one card blank out of an A4, if that makes sense. So that's your frames. And this one these were only launched last November when the other Slimmies were launched, and this one, all 4 of these were sold out, so they're now back in stock over at Tutti. So this one's been very, very popular, and I really, really like this one, and we'll do a little demo with this one. And this is your bamboo frame, I think it's called. It would make sense if it was. Yeah, Slimline bamboo frame. There is an A6 version of this. But again, you can cut it down, and I have done, and slim it down and make it a smaller one. Then you've got your maple leaf frame. Again, there's a smaller one of these, and we did have the smaller one on the previous shows. Again, you can chop it down if you want to, but I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. You can see the little kind of deboss lines in all of the maple leaves. It's just absolutely beautiful. Really love that one. So that's your 4 Slimmies. So that's everything that's on the show. And the Slimline ones seem to be on like a pick and mix towards the end of the poll. The products are actually loaded onto the Hochender website already. So you can go and have a look if you want to. Against the 7 AM and let's make sure I don't lose these. You know what I'm like, I put things down and I can't find them. They're on there, so you can actually order them already, which is really cool. Right, so let's make a very quick card. I found this lady here. This is one of the Roaring Twenties collection from Trudy Howard, Sentimentally Yours. It's all coloured in. She's coloured in with the Colour Radiance alcohol markers, and I thought, well, I've coloured her in, I might as well use her. So this is my tall slim card. So this is my 9 1/8 inches by 4 1/8 inches piece of card, and this is your pure white card from Sentimentally Yours. This is a paper from Modern Times from Chow Bella. He's lovely, isn't he? This is a 12 by 12 paper pack, and this one has got, as you can see, loads of kind of cinema kind of words on it. So I thought we'd have that as our background. And shall I just glue it down? Yeah, I'll just glue it down. This is the thing, I've been using less foam tape when I've been making proper cards with these tall Slimline ones, which if anybody knows me, you know that I don't tend to do that. But it's so easy to make a proper card. Obviously, I end up wasting half a card, but it does mean I've got cards I can send if I want to. Right, let's just pop this down on here. And this mat has been trimmed to 3 3/4 wide and 8 3/4 tall. So you see that's going to make a nice border for me if it was straight. Using Sentimentally Yours glue, which gives me a little bit of a wiggle time. Then we've got our maple leaf Slimline frame here, and it does look lovely on there, that colour, but my actual card is pure white, and this is the super smooth watercolour card. So you can see that this die is cut beautifully out of this card, and it's I can't remember what the GSM is. It's certainly over 300 or more of this, and it's cut absolutely beautifully, but that's not going to work because the colours aren't right. So I thought we'd actually try and have it in line with her colours and make it a limey green colour. So this is where I could really do with some of those nice brushes, you know, those fine brushes. to put my ink on. So I'm using Twisted Citron Distress Oxide, and as far as oxides are concerned on my website, I've ordered some more of some of the ones that have been out of stock for absolutely ages. They haven't been dispatched yet, but they will be in early next week, and I've already popped the stock onto my website, so you can order it. And that includes speckled egg. So I've got speckled egg coming both in Distress Oxide and regular distress. I've got some more crackling campfire coming. There's no rustic wilderness. I've sold out of the oxides of the Kirch or Kitsch Flamingo, however you say it. But I do have some distress inks left of that one. So that's coming next week. So if there's any oxides you want, you can order them now. Let's get a bit of... I don't want to wipe this off, so let's get... This is working quite nicely. Just do it gently. I normally use a sponge, but because of the kind of tendrils of this, I'm just using a smoothie. A lot of my smoothies have perished. I don't know if you've had smoothies and found that. They've gone all crusty, which is a little bit disappointing. So I use it. That's why I use the sponges nowadays. So I'm just giving it a light ink in. I did think actually that what might be quite nice would be to use one of the Diana Wakely Media Gloss sprays. There's a lime one, which would be really quite nice, but it's cold and I'll have to go to the garage and get some, so that's not happening. Okay, so a little bit more and then we're done. And you just keep all that lovely fine detail. Obviously you could ink first of all and then die cut as well. Yeah, that'll do, that's fine. You could use your alcohol inks to do this this frame. That would look lovely in all of your autumnal colours. Or in fact there are kind of bright greens as well, but obviously just pick your card right. Normally you use gloss card with alcohol inks, although you can use other card as well. So this is going on here like that. So that really brightens it up, doesn't it? And then she's going there. It's not an exact match on colour, but it's in the same colour family. I'm just going to stick that down. You do find, I think, with Tutti designs that the dies are kind of like a bit of a mojo buster, in that you can make a card very quickly with their dies. It's just a case of, you know, choosing a background paper or making a background, cutting the die, popping it on, and maybe adding a focal point if you need to, or just adding a sentiment, because this one you could just have a sentiment in the centre. If you've got, you could use either the fall away from the frames for your sentiment, or if you had got the cross stitch slimlines from the last show, you can put a sentiment in the centre here with that one as well. So you don't need to add a focal point. I just had this lady who from the Roaring Twenties that was coloured. It just shows you that you can use them and they're going to fit nicely. So all of Trudy's Fashionistas will work with the slimline dies. I would definitely recommend getting them. If you've got any of Sue Wilson's slimline dies, these are actually slightly longer than those. But if you've got her frames, you can actually, you know, use them in conjunction if you want. Sorry, a bit of glue. I'm trying to be quick. This is the thing, you take your time with your glue at home, but when you're doing it and you know people are watching, there's nothing more boring than watching glue go on. That's not the right one, that's the right one. Let's get rid of some of that excess, just in case I make a mess. If you do this, don't be too long hanging around on your kitchen roll, otherwise it'll stick to your kitchen roll. Let's see if we can get this straight. Let's have a look. Working around a camera is so difficult. That looks okay, doesn't it? Give that a good old press on the back. And then we'll just add our lady. And I'll put her on with a few. Should I put her on with foam pads? Let's put her on with 1mm. If you go for the thinner one, it's not going to be so heavy. Just pop some of this on. And a little bit at the bottom. Let's put a little bit on that tail bit, because that tail bit's going to get snagged. This is the woodware foam tape that I do always use. This is where I go overboard with the foam the foam tape. I don't like it to come off. That's the problem. So since watching one of Phil's lives last week, you guys mentioned Outlander, or somebody mentioned Outlander, so I've been binge watching that. Love it, absolutely love it. I normally have it on in the background when I'm crafting, so sometimes I'm a little bit distracted. Have any of you seen Outlander? Yeah, my daughter's in the south as well, Debbie. She's in Portsmouth. She was gutted last week because she didn't get any snow. There was, like, you know, that sprinkling stuff that snow does when it's uber fine. There was, like, I don't know, 6 sprinkles on the back of a car, and she said, "Does this count as snow?" I don't think so, Catherine. Right, let's just pop her in the centre. I'm not going to put a sentiment on this one, but you can pop a sentiment inside. So there we go. There's our first demo all complete. Let's do another. Again, I'm going to use a Slimmy. Let's put that to one side, don't lose it. So I've got Phil's sentiment out, so you know what sentiment I'm using. So on this one, we've got some gnomes, and we've got the collage. This is the sentiment I'm using. I'm using this Happy Birthday to You from the Big Birthday Verse Fun and Laughter from Sentimentally Yours. Obviously mix and match. And the paper, this paper is a Studio Light paper. This has got music on this side as well, and I'm doing a musical theme because I've got my two Fairy Hugs gnomes here, the musical gnomes that we had on the last Fairy Hug show. So that would be good. Obviously I can't use that because it's got that bit on there, but this is like all your kind of speakers and things, so I thought that would be quite a good background. We could put, but I haven't got them out, so I'm not going to look. We could put loads of in the when we had the Life Quotes collection from Sentimentally Yours, there was decorative extras, and there was loads of music bits and pieces. I wonder if I can quickly find it. Probably not. That's Trudy's. When you've got, like, I don't know, 8 or 9 boxes of Sentimentally Yours stamps, and one's just landed on the floor. I'm going to give up straight away. I'm not going to have you watch me try and find stuff. I've just dropped a box of stamps on the floor as well, so we'll definitely give up doing that. Right, so yeah, so you could stamp some music on there as well, but we're not. This is actually a waste piece from my samples, which I haven't shown you yet, so I will show you my samples at the end. So with this one, when you cut it, you lose all these little bits in here, fall away, so they're the waste bits, but there are bits that you can actually kind of pop back in again if you want to. So what have I got in with them? Here they are. I've got a big box of bits and pieces that have fallen away. So these are kind of fall away pieces, so you can actually, if you wanted to, you could actually kind of paper piece these bits back in again if you wanted. So if you didn't want to see all of that. With the, there's another one there. With these bits here, that one's a different size to these two. So just bear that in mind. So obviously you could pop those back in again. You could just get rid of your pieces altogether. So that one's too long for there. So that one belongs down here. So you can have a lot of fun paper piecing. Obviously you could paper piece in your background pieces that you've made. You could put sentiments in there. You can do all sorts of bits and pieces. So there's that's what it's called, collage, obviously. So lots and lots of fun to be had with that. I have lots of bits everywhere, lots of bits. So let's get this on here. So for this one, I've got my piece of paper here that's 3 3/4 by 8 3/4. Then this piece of black here is 8 7/8 by 3 7/8. And then I've got my card blank in the normal size, which is your 4 1/8 by 9 1/8. All in inches, because I don't do the other. Am I having this? I think I'm having it this way, am I? Yes, I'm having it this way. Right, so we've got all our boom boxes, or whatever they're called, our speakers in the background there. So we're just going to glue this in place. So this is just scrap papers that I've had lying around for absolutely ages. Obviously it's stitched, so sometimes your glue might come through the stitching. If you use narrow tape, you can actually raise it if you want to. We'll use it in a moment actually. The Creative Expressions, what's it called? Oh, mounted cushion, that's what it's called. That's very good because you can cut it into very thin widths, which we will do in a moment when I do something else. Right, so this is going to go on here. See, very quick cards that you can make. What takes longest is thinking and deciding what to use with them. Oh, that's straight. It's a bit up there, isn't it? I think it's going to go there and stay there. Right, that's that. So we then put this onto our black. It's actually quite nice to be able to use papers rather than making backgrounds all the time, because I've got so many papers. I mean, whenever Els brings some new papers out from Elizabeth Craft Designs, I have to buy them. I haven't used any of them, but I have to buy them. See, I'm as bad as you guys, you know, having to have stuff. Yeah, Catherine's not far from Fareham. She's in Gosport. They bought a house. They moved in second week in September last year. I have seen it. I managed to see it at the end of September, but that's the only time I saw Catherine and her boyfriend last year. Was when I went to see her house. Let's put this on. I'll put this on a little thin foam tape. Meant to do this beforehand, but obviously I haven't. So this is the 1mm again, so it's not too thick. Yeah, I don't know why she wants. I don't know why she wants snow. I mean, I just look out and think, oh. But we didn't have very much. We did have last Saturday night. It was really funny. We had a little bit of snow about 10 o'clock. My cat likes to go out about. Well, it normally goes out about 10 o'clock for the night. Well, until about 3, and he went out and it had started snowing and decided he wanted to come back in again, and he came in and he had huge flakes of snow on his back, absolutely huge. Obviously once he shook, they came off. So this is going here, and we've got this frame. This is the small, these are from the smallest die in the torn frames, I think they're called. I can't remember them. I've got a block on the name of those. Yeah, torn edge frames. So you can see that these are going to fit in together like that. You do need to be aware, if you're going to use it like a frame, that you need to be aware of, you know, which side you're using. So if I have that like that, I'm going to try and put some mounting cushion on that. If I can find the piece I'm using. There it is. So this is the mounting cushion, and it's totally different from foam tape in that you can bend it, and also you can take it off as well, which is quite handy. But they come in, you get 2 A5 sheets, and you can cut them to whatever length you want. If you want to have it deeper, because it's not very wide, if you want to have it deeper, you just peel the backing off 2 sheets and stick them together. So I'm going to have to pull this over here so I can see what I'm doing. You can also stretch it as well, and it goes around corners. So it's very, very handy to have, and it's not uber sticky, which again is handy as well. Oh, I'll just go around that corner, can't I? Let's just go around that corner there. See, you can't do this with normal foam tape. It's not cheap. It's $5.99 for 2 sheets. So it's not cheap, and I don't use it very often because it's not cheap. But it's very handy. I don't need much there, do I? So I'm taking both the backing off so I can actually bend it around the corners. Around that corner there. Right, that's it. Stay. Right. So, obviously I've lost completely where I was. I think that's there like that. Is it? Yeah, that's that way. Right, so let's get our sentiment glued down first. This could go all wrong. Everything's falling over. I've got the 60mm glue from Sentimental Yours, and because it's smaller, it falls over a lot easier. I'm not Australian. Right, so that's going in there like that. And then this, if I can see properly, is going to go over there. Like that. Obviously, if I got it round the wrong way, I can pick it up and move it. There's our frame. It's only a little bit of height, but it does make a difference. Okay. And then we've got, this log is on my Fairy Hug show coming up on the 19th. So we're going to have, let's see, he's going to be on there singing to you. I think we'll add a bit of colour to that actually, and he's going to go down there like that. That's a really cool birthday card. So let's see, let's go into set 2 from the watercolour blending brush pens and just add a little bit of brown. And these have been stamped onto the super smooth watercolour card using VersaFine Clair, Nocturne VersaFine Clair. And so I'm just adding directly from the pen because it's quicker. One of the browns from set 2 of the watercolour blending brush pens from Sentimental Yours. So they've got that really fine tip. So obviously if you take your time, you can actually get really detailed. But they're also reasonably quick as well for demonstrating with. They are very easy to use. they're really my go-to pens. If I'm given a choice, if Phil says, do you want the alcohol markers or do you want the watercolour pens, it's the watercolour pens, but the stock is disappearing very, very quickly. We won't have them for much longer, unfortunately. Right, so we'll do that, and then we'll take a lighter brown for the highlights. Again from the same set. Just to do the knot. Down there. Exposed bit. You know, anybody can do this kind of colouring. I'm not really thinking about it. I just want to give a bit of colour rather than leave it black and white on this one. Or black and cream. Okay, there we go. Right. So let's pop this step. Which way am I going to have it? I think I'm going to have that there like that. Let's pop this on a bit of the 1mm tape again. No, that way. And then he's going to go on there like that. So we just need a bit of tape on his top part. And then we'll have glue on his bottom parts. I do have all names. Corwin, Blenwyn and... oh, I can't remember. Right, let's have him there, I think. Oh, let's have a bit of... that's going to come off there, hasn't it? Let's have a bit of glue on the top of his hat as well, so then he'll stick to my frame. Oh, come on. Okay, that's him there. And then the one with the fiddle. I'm going to have some down his legs, I'm sorry. I don't want it. See, if I'm gluing them down, it doesn't matter, but I'm not, am I? So I need to make sure they don't go all wobbly. So he can be fiddling there. And then this chap's coming in from the side here, wherever his name is. I think these are such fun, these gnomes. So we've got the original gnomes on the shows next week. So I will have, actually next week, watch out, because I will have some hopefully exciting news with fairy hugs. But I will let you know. I've got a very busy few weeks. So I've got the shows tomorrow with Tutti Designs. Then I've got Wednesday morning, early doors again, 7 and 10. I've got Studio Light. Then on the 19th, which is next Friday, I've got 5 PM and 9 PM with Fairy Hugs. There we go. There's that one. I think that's really cool. Then on the 23rd, I've got 3 PM and 7 PM with Memory Box. And then on the 25th and 26th, we've got the big birthday event with Sentimentally Yours. So busy. Right, that one doesn't go on there. Right, final thing I want to... well, not the final thing I want to show you, but the final little demonstration. I really like that. Is to show you some variations with the... and I will recap this on the show, with the lacy frame, lacy heart frame. So just a few layers here of card and pretty paper. Then we've got the lacy frame. So the lacy frame is going to sit on there like that. I mean, that's very pretty on as it is. Then what you can do is, if you don't actually want to use that lacy frame, you can bring in, that's a bit bent, you can bring in the largest of the scalloped stitch rectangles and just nest that on top, and then you keep kind of the design behind it, but you're not actually using the lacy heart frame. Okay, so you can do that. What you can also do is bring in some of the other dies. So if you're thinking, I mean, obviously you're not going to get these dies for Valentine's Day, because Valentine's Day is Sunday, which also happens to be my mum's birthday. But you know, there are other kind of love kind of events that you might have, like weddings, anniversaries, engagements, things like that. So this is bringing in the stitched heart. So obviously you stamp a sentiment in there, and you've got a very, very pretty card. Yeah, so obviously you can paper, as I said, you can paper piece in back the little flowers if you wanted to. So you could perhaps do those, in this case, in perhaps silver, if you wanted. But if you didn't want to stack it up, you can bring in, this is your original heart that's come out, and you can just raise that up and add that in the centre there. So that's obviously going to fit back in. So there's another idea for you. If you don't want to be on the heart theme, don't panic. Don't panic. Oh, what you can also do is, look, this is nice. Let's put that back in there. Pop that like that. Remember my lovely bows that I like? You can bring that in and just pop that at the bottom of the heart. Doesn't that look nice? I think it does anyway. So, yes, away from the hearts, you could bring in your circles. These are your scalloped stitch circles, and just change it completely. So that's now just a circle topper. And again, you could bring in your little bow, and then you've got something that's nothing to do with hearts whatsoever. Then you can also, on the show, obviously there's lots of other things you can use with it, but also on the show we've got your ovals. So your oval, I mean, these aren't the biggest ones. Your oval, it's like a cameo, isn't it now? Think if you've got a stamp that's like a cameo, you know, of a lady's head or something like that, or just a nice sentiment, you can just stick that in there, and then you can again bring in the bow if you wanted to, but you don't have to. You could, here's the thing, I wonder if this works. If you change the orientation slightly, because we're dealing with our heart, so I don't know why I'm faffing here trying to get it straight, because it's obviously not stuck down. What if you had your ovals this way? Yeah, you can just about do it, look. So that's changed that completely, hasn't it? Oh, there's your oval coming in there, but you can't quite see it. There we go. Faffing around with it, trying to get it in the middle. So that's now changed that completely, and doesn't look like your heart frame at all, does it? So that's all the kind of little demos I was going to show you. Let me just quickly just run through. If you're interested, you want to see my samples that I've made, might give you some more ideas. What did I do with them? That's the question. Oh, there they are. Right, I'm going to do this quite quickly. Little Easter card, again, scalloped stitched rectangles, your Easter cross egg, whatever it's called, and your little bow, and I've just coloured in the flame there. This is the one we've just been using. The dies do fit with the Sentimentally Yours double deboss and eyelet rectangles as well. So that will work with other stuff in your stash. So that's kind of a wedding card. Remember I told you about making your slimmies smaller. So this is your Slimline bamboo frame, but I've chopped it down, glued it together, and popped some embossing powder on it and added the fan on it, and you can't tell that I've chopped that down. This one with the collage, I've made a graduation collage with some pictures from my daughter's graduation, obviously a few years ago. The dies for the letters are from Studio Light, from their Essentials range, but you can see you can kind of pop the photos in, and these have been printed with one of those Canon selfies that Els from ECD uses. I popped this one on Instagram last night. So these are the stitched hearts. It's the second size of the stitched heart, just cut loads and loads of times, and then a circle added in the centre, and obviously just glued on some self-adhesive, and then some glitter added on, and then your stitched scalloped rectangles as well. So that's just a different way of using your hearts that don't look like hearts. Here's another collage. This is the papers that I was using for the demo I've just done. And Happy Easter. And I've just given that a drop shadow on that one. Here's your fan background with a bow, and this is just a background that I've made. Here's an Easter card which I shared yesterday with the floral bunny and your scalloped stitched circles and your Happy Easter on there. Here's another one with my gnomes with my collage. Here's a maple leaf slimline frame, and I put Pentart media inks. It's gloss card, and I put Pentart media inks on that one. They like alcohol inks, and then your rectangles there. This is another Studio Light piece. This is a sample that I did, it might have been a demo actually, when we've had this Asian landscape on before. Little tiny Easter card with the Easter bunny, just some Easter papers. This is old Couture Creations paper. This I've just found in my stash with the rectangles. See, that makes a lovely little tiny little A6 card for Easter. Then we've got Tall Slimmy with 3 of the fans on there with your bamboo. And finally, we've got another Slimmy just with one of the frames, and the little bunny we are paper pieced in a little bit, and your Happy Easter, which I've again paper pieced in. So hopefully that's giving you some ideas of some of the things that you can do with the fabulous dies that there are on the shows tomorrow morning. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you hopefully bright and early. Please email in and let me know that you're watching, because, you know, even if you're watching with just your breakfast and a cup of tea or something. I mean, I know it's early. Believe me, I know it's early. But I do hope you can join me. So again, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the telly box tomorrow. Bye.